Good morning. Welcome to our Monday morning meditation. Good to see you all here, to have you here today. I had some Monday morning technical difficulties, so thanks for waiting. I am so looking forward to just hanging out with you today and meditating. I read, or no, I didn't read it. I watched a video this weekend on it was by this doctor um, at Harvard. And he was talking about how important it is to be bored. And I know one of our meditations, I think this last year um, on Monday mornings, was about just letting ourselves be bored in our meditation time because it's more important to continue that practice, to build that skill of being able to just hang out with ourselves than it is to you know, decide that we're bored and then get up and go do something else, right? It's important to stay with it and allow the boredom. And he was talking about allowing ourselves to be bored throughout the day, and how important it is and how we've lost that because we have our phones with us all the time. And he was just talking about when people even are walking across the street and if they have to stop for the stoplight, they'll pull up their phone for the 15 seconds that it takes for the light to change. We just can't stand that. And he was talking also about the part of our brain that pays attention to what's going on in our mind gets lost when we're on our phones all the time, when we can't stand that feeling of just being with ourselves. He also cited the study that I've shared on Monday mornings too, which I just find so fascinating, where people were put into a room for 15 minutes by themselves with nothing else, nothing on the walls, nothing to look at, but there was a button. And if they pushed that button, it would give them a, mildly painful shock. And more often than not, people would push that button rather than sit and hang out by themselves for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. At our meditation time, we do 20 once I stop talking usually, so we are doing a good job of building that muscle and to learn how to watch what's happening in our mind, what's happening in our body. In therapy land, we call that metacognition, right? Which means the ability to be aware that we have thoughts going through our mind. That's what it is. And not everybody does. Not everybody knows that they've got this constant chatter going on all day long. And we all do. And it's the number one deterrent for people from meditation because of that. They stop, they pay attention to what's happening inside, and they become aware of that chatterbox going on in our head, and then they say, oh, my mind's too busy. I can't meditate. Well, of course, your mind is busy because that's what minds do. But our meditation time is learning to, first of all, be aware of that voice, but then also to be able to manage where our attention is. Are we following what that voice is bringing up? Oh my gosh, you did such a horrible job at blah, 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 blah yesterday. And oh my gosh, how would you do that differently? And then we come up and we sit around thinking about 10 different ways we would have done it differently instead of just going, oh, okay, I did the best that I could. Let's move on, But when we're paying attention to that, we can say, oh, I'm not going to worry about that. And we bring our attention back to ourselves. And then suddenly that string of thought gets stopped. And that's so empowering. It's not easy to do because there's a lot going on up there, but it's so powerful to be able to know that that is in our control, that is in our management. Don't want to say control. Not always in our control, but it's in our management. Sometimes maybe we feel anxious about something, and an anxiety voice is very hard to stop in its tracks. Sometimes we just have to watch that train on the track and just let it go, but also keeping our attention back to our center. And so our meditation time builds that muscle, builds that ability to be present with ourselves in the present moment and managing the judgments going on in our head, whether it's about ourselves or somebody or something else, and just being in that inner space and knowing that we don't have to jump in to a conversation with every thought that's running through our minds. So, another thought I had for our time together today is, um, when this gentleman was talking about, um, gentleman, I think I just dated myself by saying that. When this doctor was on this video was talking, he was, when he was talking about, us being on our phones all the time, I was noticing, just even that act brings us up into our head, which is fine if we're paying attention to what's going on in there. But our actual, the way we give space to what's going on in our head is we bring our attention out of our head into our body. And that's why in our meditation time on Mondays, we do a lot of focusing on the breath, focusing on the center in the body where we can bring our attention out of our head into our bodies. And it just expands the space we can hold within ourselves, within our awareness throughout the day. So I was thinking today what was coming up for me in my own meditation time this weekend was just breathing in through my cells, every cell of my body, just feeling breath coming in. And also when we're paying attention to our bodies, we can notice any tension, and that tension adds to what's going on in our head, and what's going on in our head adds to the tension in our bodies. So allowing our cells and even consciously giving ourselves permission to let go. Just let go. It doesn't mean that our aches and pains are going to go away, but it means we're not holding on to them tightly or trying to protect ourselves from them. We're letting them go. We're just giving permission to let them go and breathe. Let it go and breathe. So, anyway, I'll walk us through that today. So, if you are not already comfortable where you're sitting, I invite you just to shift, adjust so that you can relax and let your body melt into the chair you're sitting in or bed, wherever you are. And we start with a couple of deep breaths. Our breath helps slow down the mind, relax the body. And let's put our attention on our breath just for a few moments. Just feel that breath coming in through the belly, expanding it. And as you exhale, the belly relaxes. Expand as you breathe in. Relax towards the center of the body as you breathe out. And just keep that going. You don't have to breathe deeply or make a big deal out of the breath. Just notice, just let it be at its natural pace and notice it coming in and out through the belly. And this focusing on the breath helps our mind and body be synchronized a little bit more. Often our bodies are in one direction, our minds are going into another direction. We're just bringing them both back right here, right now, as one unit instead of two. And now I invite you to let your inner attention witness your body, feel your body. Just feel the frame, the outline. Feel the density that the body is. And we're not judging, we're just noticing. Continuing that belly breath. And let your imagination, not from the head, but from within the body, feel every cell. You can zero in on an individual body area if that's helpful, and just feel as you put your attention on a body area, just feel the tingling that happens when your awareness and that body area see each other. There's energy and activity and recognition. It's almost as if our attention, our awareness on the body is a warm hug, a warm embrace. And not because we're doing anything, just by that presence. All that energy that goes round and round in our heads, we get to put that into loving action by being present with the body. Continue with that belly breath. And feel into this. Feel into every cell of your body just opening up. As each cell opens, any tension is released, any tightness, any worry. As you inhale, feel that pure air just moving through every cell. And as you breathe out, every cell releases whatever it needs to release. Just feel it moving through your body, breathing in pure air, breathing out everything else. And whatever experience in your meditation that you're having right now is perfectly fine. It doesn't have to match with what I'm saying. Just let your breath relax you. Let your attention be present right here, right now. Keep breathing. And when your mind wanders, it's okay. Just bring it back to that breath. And don't worry if the mind is loud or busy. Just notice that and bring your attention back to the breath, letting the mind do whatever it's doing on the side. It is so important to our health, to our minds, to our hearts, to practice this presence and stillness, openness, and to exercise our innate ability to be in charge of our attention, our focus, our actions, inside and out. No matter how busy our mind might be on a given day or in a given moment, the act of stopping and noticing and bringing our attention away from that train into the breath, even though the train is still running, just focusing on our breath makes a world of difference to that very moment, as well as the rest of our day. So important. And if you have time right now to continue watching your breath, continue bringing your attention to that breath, breathing through your cells, I invite you to just hang out there as long as you have time to do today. If you need to go about your day, take another deep breath or two to let your mind body system know that you're switching gears. We take with us the peace and the groundedness and the mind rest that we shared today. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy your meditation practice this week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye bye.